Hey now, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of IoT Nuggets.
When we get to 100 episodes, Doug, can we change that? Should we change it, or what do you think? No,
absolutely not.
I figured I'd ask.
It's always worth an ask. Hey, Shawn, how are you? Thanks for joining us again.
Hey, I'm great.
And welcome, everybody, once again. IoT Nuggets with IoT Group. You can visit them at bhiotgroup.com. Shawn Sweeney joins us for our continuing series on Nuggets from Alef. And Alef's website is wearealef.com. And so far, we've talked about what Alef does in general and private networks. And today, we're going to dig into a little bit more of some of the applications for these private networks. So Steve and Shawn, I'm passing it on to you, gentlemen. Take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Doug. So Doug was right. If you look at Shawn, I have, and John, and we've been in IoT and data for 30 years plus. Yes, I started when I was 10. And the whole concept is that data being secure, being able to take those applications in a variety of different use cases. And I wanted to get a little bit deeper into some of those examples that you may have that your customers, channel partners, resellers, integrators may be working on, where the Alef solution in the network management in the cloud is absolutely critical. So let's talk about a few of these. So, I had warehousing as one to talk about. Let's talk, I had another one, education and healthcare and building management. So pick one, let's talk about it.
Let's start off with building management. I think that's the most interesting one. And for the last 6 years, it's been my privilege to work with, some of the largest IoT vendors, in the world, the Honeywells and the Johnsons and Hitachis and these guys. And what's been interesting in that journey is that, they built a very vertically integrated stack. In other words, from the device to an application somewhere, kept safe and warm in a data center. And I think that what is now being argued for with technologies like Alef is this idea that there'll be a distributed computing environment to run applications, indeed IoT applications among the many, and in a more distributed way. And so there will be certainly some large component, if you will, of an application, that runs safe and warm in a data center or in a cloud. There will be aspects of it that require certain performance characteristics, as an example, or security characteristics, as an example, or data patriation issues, whatever the case might be, really at the network edge and closer to where the devices are. And this is at Alef, this is where we see a huge opportunity for us, as we essentially have created an API-based platform that allows for the horizontal integration of all of these components into that kind of an environment. And what that really means is exactly what Johnson and Hitachi and Honeywell were being told, which is, we want to be able to deconstruct aspects of the solution and really pick and choose which parts of it we need to get from here or from there. I was speaking in Atlanta just a week or two ago, and the gentleman who went before me made the comment that in 2024, 54% of all devices will be connected to networks that are LTE based, whether that be CBRS, 4G, 5G, whatever the case might be. And I was very heartened by that, because I think that is consistent with, a lot of experience that I've had with some of the companies that really focus on IoT and then further on building management. So I do think we're facing kind of a changing landscape where the ability to build a solution from the ground up in a way that is more customizable by the customer is certainly something that we see as a demand that's emerged in the marketplace, and certainly building management is one of the many places where.
And Shawn, just to make sure, Alef doesn't build applications, right? So when we look at warehousing or campuses and education, you're not doing that kind of work, right?
No, we don't build applications. However, we do engage developers to help with that, and certainly with systems integrators as well. As I was speaking about this kind of distributed computing environment, one of the requirements is to take those large vertically integrated applications and break off the pieces that are required at the network edge. And indeed, with some of the technology that's available today, that's become a lot more palatable and easy to do. No, we don't build those applications, but we engage with partners and developers to provide an environment or a place for those, for those new age applications to run. So
you don't really care about the application. I mean, you're agnostic. I hate this. I use that word as overkill in their industry, but you're agnostic to the application. You don't care if it's indoors or outdoors, right? So it's really about that application running over a secure private network.
Yeah, well, we do care about the application a little. I don't want to get too flippant with that one. I mean, one of the things I would say is, there's been numerous studies done in these, one or two that I've commissioned myself. And one of the things that we found was that approximately half of the applications that have not been migrated to the cloud, the big reason for that is performance characteristics, and specifically the kind of performance characteristics that Alef would help you with, again, by hosting some portion of that application at the network edge, indeed in our infrastructure as a service on top of our mobile network as a service offering. And so to say that we don't care about it is a little bit more loose than I'd appreciate, but we don't care where the application comes from, for real. But we do certainly care about its characteristics, and we do care about its performance. And indeed, that's one of the things that we're helping people in many different verticals with, is providing a level of performance, which, by the way, could be as simple as latency, it could be throughput or speed, whatever the case might be. There's a variety of different customizations that we can provide there, again, through our API interfaces.
And so let's talk about a couple of healthcare. I mean, obviously, we're looking at, all the hospitals and medical centers, and forget HIPAA doesn't really matter because it's within the application that's running there. But so many of these hospitals are concerned, especially around secure data going through and the protection of that, and being behind the firewall. Is healthcare a huge opportunity for you?
It absolutely is. And indeed, we're engaged in a number of healthcare projects as we speak. One of them deals with this concept of storage reduction, if you will. It's a medical device firm, and they happen to have been storing their machine information, on the cloud, and then eventually, as they got bigger and bigger, they discovered that the bill for that was getting to be pretty outrageous. And so, back to your point about applications, they wrote a small metadata extraction application that runs through some of these data sets, reduces them to minimal requirements, uploads that to the cloud, and then we actually redirect the storage to local storage such that it can be kept for a regulatory period of time. And so there's a good example, of how edge compute, and specifically the Alef infrastructure, can be implemented in a healthcare application.
Awesome. Well, again, another great segment. Shawn, I really appreciate you talking a lot about applications, as we've talked about in your network and the way you're structured, a little bit about the APIs and the security aspects, and now we talked about the applications. In our fourth episode, everybody, when you need to come back and watch, will be a little bit more around, Alef, go-to-market, how we're working, pricing, programs, and around the strategy of where do we go from here. So looking forward to episode 4, Shawn, and thank you very much for your time. So Doug, back to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done once again. It's always really interesting to hear about the applications and what's going on and how these things are really changing the world and having an impact on these different industries. Very, very interesting stuff to hear from me. We thank you for joining us again, Shawn from Alef. wearealef.com is the website. bhiotgroup.com is the website for BHIOT Group if you want to connect with Steve and John and the rest of the team there. And make sure you connect on the YouTube channel as well as LinkedIn to go back and see all the rest of the nuggets. And if you are in the business, in the space, in the IoT space, and you have a subject matter that you have expertise on and you want to join us on the show, reach out and let us know. We're looking for other guests always. Yep. And that's really about it for now. So join us. We have one more episode with Shawn, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, gentlemen.